Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome back to Beyond Your Radio. This is Unknown Sundays. It's been a couple weeks, getting back on track. It's time to talk about another band, an artist, or something in the music multiverse that might be relatively unknown, missed, or that our watchers, our collectors, our listeners might be very interested in, a rabbit hole to go down, past and or present. Please remember this is an extension of the article sections of beyondyourradio.com. So if you want the entire thing written there by me, a lot of links, it's there. The journey sometimes to an artist, especially one as avant-garde as this one, is a variety of influences, moments, and in this case, even a live opening performance and accompaniment with Bjork in Toronto. At the core of it, the Electronica movement was always interesting in my ear. It was kind of evolving to and experimental listings that I love about music. Even those at first listen that maybe would have been easily dismissed or drove me mad, or to the point of some who might say this isn't music based on their displacement in the music timeline or instrumental jealousy, perhaps. I would push my audio tendencies a little off to the side so that I could find the album and the artist's filter and let it in, attempting to find the hook, the catch, or even the process and approach to such things. Now, this particular duo from San Francisco, which is Martin Schmidt and Drew Daniel, a real-life couple consisting of an English PhD professor at Johns Hopkins University and the other currently a professor of music at the Peabody Institute, which is also at Johns Hopkins University, somehow found a way to manufacture sounds from the most unconditional, unconventional samplings of all time. It could be a root canal, a balloon being played by a violin bow, or perhaps a snake swallowing a rat, although I cannot confirm that one. But they have used human and natural sounds for sure. And somehow bringing it to a sound musical accomplishment in finished product right up to this year's forthcoming release called Metallic Life Review, which is coming in June. The duo named after the seething swamp in the 1968 cult classic Barbarella. This is Matmos on Unknown Sundays, 2025. Strange is strange, right? It is what it is. It's not for everybody. And there's going to be factions of musicians, producers, and old school music theologians that are just going to be very upset, miffed, or deny the entire creative process. I am not any of those, and unless you want to be trapped in a music cardboard box, I think you should always be open to something. Don't get me wrong, I have my prejudice, but I can always find something in it to warrant the expression, the position, and attempted accomplishment, or accomplishments in this case, should they continue on and on. But this collaboration is monumentally quite different than any other in the music multiverse. We are here at Matmos, that started back in the 90s, 1995, probably from college during a music scene that was definitely very college friendly, as well as the truth that it's probably the most expansive time in the music industry, maybe competing against that of the 1970s, which could be a great argument. One might say it was overly inviting in comparison to the 70s, but that's a topic for a longer article or of Sound Minds one night. Back to these two men from Barbarella. Come on, I had to say that again. It's not everything happens that it's not like it's not often that you get a band that names themselves after Barbarella. There's no question that Drew's love of music spilled into his English degree, as he's written for Pitchfork, as well as books about a book about Throbbing Gristle, who obviously had some sort of influence and control and an avant-garde approach as Matmos. But be it known that he also loved techno dance arena too. He had a side project called the Soft Pink Truth. You can look that up and go down that rabbit hole if you choose. Schmidt is the probable catalyst of the music professor and archaeoaudiologist to find the sounds, and it can be anything as demonic as a washing machine or as disturbing as surgeries, as it was with 2001's chance to cut is a chance to cure. The technical positioning, at least back in the 90s, because phone recording certainly wasn't what it was. I don't even think it was available at the time. Then you got the additional actual musicianship, whether it's bass, drum, guitar lick, strings, or whatever they feel to add to the message behind that pitch. That pitch. I'm not talking about the pitch of sound. I think they could probably give two shits about pitch, considering the scope of their projects. I'm talking about them having to pitch the concept of the record to record labels like Vague Terrain. Well, Vague Terrain might have been a little bit more acceptable to the whole thing, but Thrill Jockey or Matador, I don't think so. For example, the Washing Machine album, or an album completely based on the use and abuse of sounds of plastic. And yes, that did have silicone implant in it. Or even maybe such to a timetable like The West, which was the 1990s album, which is a really good album. Got a lot of things going on. I can't even imagine sitting there in the room while these two told the story of the album they were going to make or they were already starting to make. I mean, it was a WTF moment, right? Might be an understatement for some, but with the exclusion of Ultimate Care 2, which to me just sounds like a washing machine cycle from start to finish. These are not unlistenable projects or experimental failures or experimental garbage. They had a reachable value that can have you feeling the groove, as with the simplicity of the billiard balls and synthetic fat that was used in an album song. You got the album The West, which has this very tight, real sound and a cinematic kind of feel, which maybe is a little bit of a far cry from what we conceived in our minds. You can liken parts of their music to that of Throbbing Gristle, for sure, but there's elements of soul coughing, larger elements of the great Chris Watson, as an English musician and sound recording artist who also formed the band Cabaret Voltaire, which might make for an easier filter into this kind of form of music for you to start. Which this happened back in the late 70s and a little bit forward from there. Then you can find the music moments and times and places that contribute in the line of this greatness. Enter Bjork, of course, live in concert at the Hummingbird Theater in downtown Toronto as a gift from my wife. Matmos was not only the opening act in the evening, they also caught the eclecticity by assisting Bjork on stage in multiple accompaniments with an Icelandic choir and an orchestra. I don't remember which orchestra, Hamilton, Toronto, don't remember. I'm pretty sure this was all, I mean, if this was all music garbage, musical garbage. Bjork would not have been in the wheelhouse of such collectors of such garbage. She's a humanitarian of sorts, but I'm sure she's not into committing career suicide, and part of her extended sound vocabulary. Indeed, it was not. And despite the video tonsillectomy going on in the background during the opening act, so obviously I saw her on that tour where they were using A Chance to Cut as a Chance to Cure from 2001. It was on the Vespertine tour, I'm pretty sure. The rest of the instruments and the sounds and how the hell is this all happening moment kind of caught everyone in off guard. But then I think people, at least 50% of the audience, is intrigued and beguiled by the whole thing. Some tapping along. There was sound. There was musicality to it. There was a reason. There was something there. Matmos is still together today. And in June, I said we'd have this new album that they pitched would be in our ear, hoping that they continued to challenge what sounds we hear and how they can become an album. While I'm not going to put it out there in the music multiverse that these are absolute bangers of an albums, there are several in the mix that could be some of the most interesting conceptualized music pieces that were created in the last couple of decades. But they are certainly left to the beholder. Just make sure your dismissal of it comes after giving it a good dose of experience, as I would hate for you to miss out on something this unique in all of music. Sometimes it's an audio dig at the right time that opens up the creative attachment and senses, and Matmos is worthy of this kind of exploration, especially if you fancy yourself a sound engineer of sorts, because sound can tell a story, whether it's a time, a place, a person, like that of the album Regards, which goes into Boguslav Schaefer's stuff. Or, well, inanimate objects, surgeries, or how a Japanese beetle sounds attacking a rose, or even the interior of a building such as the Smithsonian, which is the album Return to Archive. I'm just putting it all out there in the general Matmosphere for you to enjoy. Matmos albums. In 1997, self-titled Matmos. In 1998, Quasi Objects. In 1999, The West, considered one of their best. A Chance to Cut is a Chance to Cure in 2001. I had that album. The Civil War of 2003. I had that album. The Rose Has Teeth in the Mouth of a Beast, 2006. Supreme Balloon, 2008. I had that album. Treasure State, 2010. The Marriage of True Minds in 2013, which I've yet to listen to and I'm hearing things about, so I definitely will get into that. The Ultimate Care 2, that's the Washing Machine album, 2016. If you skip that, I wouldn't hold it against you. Plastic Anniversary 2019, very good album, very well conceptualized. The Consuming Flame, open exercise in group form in 2020. Regards, Yuktoni dia Boguslav Schaefer, 2022. Return to Archive, 2023. And coming soon, Metallic Life Review in June. What did you think of Matmos? Please leave us a comment or two. Maybe click the like button. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We've got tons and tons of shows and articles on the website. I'll see you next week for Life of Agony. You'll want to truly be there for this one. This one's a very unique story in alternative metal. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Got articles, videos, podcasts coming right around the corner. Finish that up. It's all about albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching and happy listening.